So here we are, 3.8a, and this section is called Algebra and Functions. So we're going to stick with some definitions here at the top of the screen there. And what we're going to do is we're going to do some examples, and then we'll go back to the definitions to explain a little bit about what's going on. So example 1 says that we have f of x, and that's equal to 4x squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay, let's move this, or at least make it smaller for now. And then let's do this in blue. They'll say g of x equals 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. Okay. If they are asking you to find f plus g, what they're asking you to do is to take the f value and the g value and add them together. So really, f plus g actually equals f plus g of x. And that means f of x plus g of x, which means you're going to take this, and you're going to add them together. So you're going to take 4x squared plus 3x plus 2, that's the f of x, and you're going to add, because of this plus sign, 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. You're going to combine like terms and get 6x squared, 3x minus 5x, 2 and minus 6, and you're done. Okay? If I had f minus g, that's the same as f of x minus g of x. So it's going to be this minus this. So it's going to look just like this, only this is going to be a minus sign. If I have, I'll leave my f of x and g of f there. If I have, let's see, what else do they give me? fg. That means f of x times g of x. This is just a shortcut way, so you're not writing the x the whole time. So now we've got 4x squared plus 3x plus 2 times 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. So you're going to multiply all this out, which we've done in the past, and you end up with 8x to the 4th minus 14x cubed minus 35x squared minus 28x minus 12. And that's from the book, bottom of page 288. So when you multiply all these out, you get that once you combine like terms. All right, let's keep moving. The final one they give you is f over g of x. And sometimes they put in parentheses like that. All right, which means whatever f of x is over whatever g of x is. So that would be our 4x squared plus 3x plus 2 over 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. And at this point, we haven't learned what to do with that, so we'll just leave this as it is. So that's what the multiplication, division, subtraction, addition look like. Okay, I'm going to leave that little chart up there, and we will see if I can erase everything else and try example 2. So they give us f of x equals 4x minus 3. And they give us g of x equals 4x squared minus 7x plus 3. And they give us h of x equals x minus 1. So the first thing they do is they ask us what f plus g is. So that means, and we're not going to do it, that means you take this, 4x minus 3, and add this to it. So you're just going to add like terms and then you're done. When they say fh, that means we're going to take 4x minus 3, because that's our f, and we're going to multiply that by the h right there. So we're going to use FOIL and find that. If they asked us what fg is, then you're going to take whatever your f is and multiply it by whatever your g is. So you can follow along on example 2, and they actually go through and do that. But I want to look at example 3 a little more closely. Example 3 says that if we have f, g, and h, and they're the same functions defined in example 2, oops, need to put those back up there because it says they're the same ones. Okay, evaluate f plus g of 2. So what in the world does that mean? That means that when you see this and you see this, this had an x in it, and this has an x in it. This has a 2 in it, so now we're going to write, instead of an x, we're going to write a 2 there. So this is going to be 4 times 2 minus 3, and it says we're going to add plus 4 times 2 squared minus 7 times 2 plus 3. So what this number says here is wherever you see a variable, you're going to put this number in its place. So now we've got this whole string of numbers. So we have 8 minus 3 plus 2 times 2 is 4. 16 minus 14 plus 3. And you keep cruising along with that and end up with the answer that we were looking for. The next one says fh negative 1. So what does that mean? We're going to take f of x, multiply it by, whoops, I'm sorry. Yeah, f, now we're going to multiply it by h. And instead of putting the x here and here, we're going to replace it with negative 1. So all that negative 1 does is says this is what you need to put in there for the variable. So negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2, which gives me a positive 14. So that's what you do for each one of those. F of g, let's look at that one just for a minute, because f of g gives you, let's go back. Let's see, f of g gives me a 0. So we're going to multiply them. So let's take 4x minus 3. I always like to write things out a little bit more. Some students don't, but it just makes it a little more difficult to get the right answer. So it's saying wherever I see an x, put a 0. Okay, so 4 times 0 is 0, so I have negative 3 here. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. This cancels, and we just have a 3. So that gives me negative 9. Okay, the division's the same way. They're putting a 5 in for x, and you're good to go. Okay, for this next section, composition of functions, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video and do a second one, and rather than a really long one video.